moments that we have left, we want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand.
I just watched Representative Mike Hope on Cue It Up Sports with Aaron Levine. And as a Seattle Supersonics fan / sports fan activist / political activist, here's my black and white between the lines take on what I heard.
State Representative Mike Hope is here with a plan to fund a new arena for either an NHL or an NBA team. You're planning on introducing this legislation in December for January session, is that correct? That's correct.
Now, with all due respect to Aaron Levine, Seattle doesn't need a plan to fund an arena for either an NHL or NBA team. Seattle needs a plan for the Seattle Center to be refigured for an expanded footprint, according to the Seattle Center proposal that Arena Solution President Brian Robinson put together in 2007.
The Seattle Center proposal that Chris and I put together, Chris Van Dyke of Citizens for More Important Things, for the state-of-the-art enhancement of Key Arena, for the overall betterment of Seattle Center, for the entire city of Seattle, with the express purpose of attracting world-class entertainment, including the NHL and NBA.
And why now?
Well, I think right now is the most important time. We're getting ready to go to special session next month.
Now here's why the arena plan needs to be in crystal clear terms. The special session was called by the governor for the purpose of passing the budget. 30 days that are specially designated is what Representative Hope has to get things lined up for the regular session, which is 60 days, since it's in the even-numbered year of 2012. And in my estimation, if the representative's arena plan is not as completely inclusive as possible, it might be met with deaf ears the instant either NHL or NBA is mentioned, and no state taxes may not even be heard. That's why I say the Key Arena is the solution. When you hear Seattle Center, the first thing you think of is the Space Needle, and presto, your attention has been gotten.
So mid-November, or November 28th, I actually believe is the date that we're going back. So it's really important to gather as many signatures as I can to put on that piece of legislation. So December 1st, we're ready to go with a bill and move it forward. In addition to that, we want to make sure that we have enough community support too, and that allow people to understand exactly what the bill is.
Representative Hope just rested my case right there. Community support. Not just Sonics agonizers, not just hockey hopefuls, but the entire community. If the arena solution isn't the Key Arena, then it's not truly a community thing. If it's anywhere else other than Seattle Center, the center of the Seattle community, then community support may be very tough for the representative to get.
Take me through that exact plan, then how many parts to this plan are there?
There's 3 parts. The number one piece is the professional athlete's fee, which would be done through the Department of Licensing, just like you would for physicians. The second part of the plan would be a vanity type of plate, what we've used for stadiums in the past. And the third part is the partnership with the private sector.
Okay, we're taking a look at the projections right here. So the state would raise about $12 million per year through professional license fees and vanity plates. How does that ultimately project to $170 million total?
Through state bonds. It would be ran through like a capital budget, just like you usually use. And that's a 25 projected bond at an interest rate of 4.05%, which is that's what it was in July. So essentially, it's just like you're buying your home. This is what we do to fund schools. This is what we do to fund universities, the medical school that was just passed out in Spokane.
Now, I know a big concern of the public is taxes. This does not include a single public tax, is that correct?
Absolutely correct. It does not tax a single person in Washington State. It is not an income tax. It is not any kind of tax. It's a fee on professional athletes to play within any facility.
And you talk about the economic time right now, and the timing of this. Why now? And I mentioned it before, but you talked about the economy as well.
Right, and you've got to look at 2 aspects of that. Is one, you have to have a short plan, short-term plan to get us out of this rut that we're in economically. And then number 2 is you have to start looking at things that are long-range.
Long-range economic impact is the most important part of the Key Arena solution, the part often overlooked. A rustler from Oklahoma rode into town and rode off with the Sonics and left a giant hole in the Seattle economy. And that's where the economic talk begins. by restoring the damage and rebuilding from there and not allowing an outsider to affect the long-range economic health of the region. And there must be a proper response to that outside influence to the local economy. The removal of the Sonics hit the Seattle Center, and the reverberations went out from there and affected everything else.
And what we have here on the chart is you're looking at your short range. So just to build the arena itself, I put Snohomish County up there, for instance. You're looking at a county that has 9% to 11% unemployment rate for over the last 2 years consistently. There's 34,000 people that are out of work right now. This would provide 3,400 jobs. That, in fact, actually reduces your unemployment rate by 1% for that county. Long-term wise, when you're starting to look at overall state revenue projects, you're cutting or you raise tuition by $500 million, and when you see $500 million go up, that's our college kids that are paying for those things. And if you had an NBA team and you had an NHL team, which are annually could bring in $150 to $180 million in state revenue every single year, you're essentially looking at a plan here that you wouldn't have to do some of those cuts.
Okay,
you wouldn't have to do those things.
So the layman looks at this and says, well, okay, it doesn't affect me at all, and we're going to get an NBA team potentially back here and fund a new arena.
Right there, Representative Hope's arena plan doesn't sound as strong as it should from a public relations standpoint. It would have been much stronger if he had professionally corrected Aaron Levine by saying the arena plan is not just for bringing an NBA team back to Seattle, but this is for the restoration of Seattle Center. This is to bring back the world-class category it had by enhancing the Key into a newer, bigger arena for concerts and other entertainment, along with being in position to attract an NHL and NBA team.
What are your expectations, though, from the lawmakers down in Olympia and how that's going to be received?
And that's why we're starting early. And I believe if you have something that's tangible, if you have something that you can actually point to, which is this, and say, look, we actually have a plan. It's not going to cost your constituents a single dime. And it's going to create revenue for our state. It's going to create an enjoyment for your community. Why not do it? Let's get behind this.
Well, I'm not a state representative, and I don't even try to play one on YouTube. But I'll say this. When I hear not going to cost a dime, create revenue for our state and enjoyment for your community, it just doesn't resonate the same as not going to cost a dime, create revenue for our state, and continue to raise Seattle as a world-class city with the restoration of Seattle Center.
I mean, Representative Mike Hope, I wish you the absolute best of luck with this venture. We're going to do our best to get the word out. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And, what do you think the next couple of months are going to be like? How is it going to be received?
Very busy, very busy. We got that special session coming up, but at the same time, at least you've got all of us in the same place at the same time. So it's easy to take that piece of legislation around, get Republicans, get Democrats, and say, hey, let's do this. It's a huge economic opportunity for us. We're missing out on that, and I think we can have it, and especially if we're not paying for it.
Well, that's my black and white, between the lines take on what I heard. And as I've already said, Representative Hope's arena plan would sound and be a lot stronger if he would just tie it right into Key Arena and Seattle Center.
We are going to push this word out. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and good luck in the special session and going forward, starting in the legislature in January.
Yeah, thank you so much.
As far as I'm concerned, as a Seattle Supersonics fan, the Key Arena is the solution.
That's Commando Dave, wasn't it?
He ought to have his own show.
Have you? No kidding.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!